Jackie. She's here. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Thanks so much for clicking on today's video. I am so excited. As you can tell by the title, today's video is going to be a first impressions stroke review stroke tutorial using Jackie AINA and Anastasia Beverly Hills collaboration on this amazing palette. First of all, if you have been living under a rock somehow and missed this massive achievement announcement, the amazing content creator here on YouTube, Jackie AINA, legendary, has collaborated with Anastasia Beverly Hills to bring out her own palette. This is it right here. I have been dying for this to arrive. This arrived this weekend and I'm filming this on Monday morning so that this video can be up for you when you're seeing it now on Wednesday. I have loved and watched Jackie for years. I mean, easily 6-7 years, like since the really early days. She's one of the first kind of like OG YouTubers that I used to watch on YouTube, and she has inspired me and inspired so many of us over time, speaking up over issues, bringing light to the fact that the spectrum doesn't end at MW45 Max Studio Fix Shade and actually goes beyond that, highlighting the issues of women of colour in relation to the beauty industry, and she is just a massive inspiration. So when she announced that she was dropping this collaboration with Anastasia Beverly Hills, I knew 100% that I would support. There are some collaborations and some things that like YouTubers will do and bring out, and I don't always feel compelled to kind of buy or get involved in it. But when I saw this palette and Jackie announced it, I knew that I would want to support and also get my hands on this and yeah, just have this as part of my collection. This is my first Anastasia Beverly Hills palette that I've had. I've not really been drawn to many of their palettes, if I'm honest, apart from the Makeup by Mario one, which was years ago, and the Modern Renaissance. I think those are the two that were kind of like I was most drawn to, just because they looked like a lot of the shades could work on dark skin. So when Jackie announced that she was doing this, I automatically knew that she would have formulated these shades to make sure that they would work for dark skin. And when I got it in my hands, I absolutely 100% knew that's what it was. And when I swatched it, I knew that's what it was. And you are going to see all of that in this video. But before I get in, I just want to show you what it looks like. The packaging is insane. Look at that iridescence. Love that. And I love that she's done this kind of crop print. Crocodile print is one of my absolute favorite kind of like textures. It just looks so beautiful. And in this kind of iridescent finish, it's just beautiful. So of course she's got the Jackie AINA logo on there, and then she's got the Anastasia Beverly Hills here at the bottom. So this is what it looks like. I mean, I know you've seen this a million times already online, but there you go, that's what she looks like. So if you're interested to see a tutorial slash first impressions slash review of this palette, then just keep watching. But of course I can't go before I ask you to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Please go ahead and click it if you're interested in this content and more. And also make sure to go follow me over on Instagram. Otherwise, let's just get started. Alright, so before we get started on the eye look, I need to give you some swatches of this bad boy. I'll do you a close-up of what this looks like, but that's the palette right here. I'm sure you've seen it. One quick word on the colours in the palette. All the pictures that I've seen, apart from the arm swatch that Jackie did, and maybe like one other one, I'm not reflecting the richness of the colours in here. So I really wanted this palette, but I was a little bit skeptical at first because I was like, oh, this doesn't quite look like it's as pigmented as I want it to be. In real life, these colours are absolutely popping. So I'm going to do you a swatch of all the colours. So I'll start off with the top row and then the bottom row, and then we can get into the eye look real quick. So first up is Soleil. Looks like that, and that is kind of like a goldy, champagne rose goldy colour. Next up to it is Supreme, which is a lovely kind of like bubblegum pink. Reminds me a little bit of Candy Yum Yum, but a little bit lighter. Then next to that is the shade Pinker. which is a kind of deep mauvey pink with slight purple undertones, but really, really like the look of that. Okay, then next to Pinker is the shade Bigwig, which is a deep purple shade. Just add that on so you can see, looks like that. Next to Bigwig is Dwellers. Dwellers is really like kind of yellowy, greeny gold shimmery shade. It's got more shimmer and glitter in it than the first shade Soleil, which is more of kind of like a champagne colour. This one is a little bit more greeny gold as well. Next to that is the shade Credit. I love dark brown shades like this. Yes, that's the colour payoff that we need. So that is the shade Credit right there, perfect for like smoky eye, working it into the crease. And last shade across the top is the shade Lituation, which is so pretty. It's like a taupe shimmery shade, so it has like purpley grey brown undertones, but it's not so grey, it's more kind of like purpley silvery. I don't know how to describe it, it's so pretty, but that is the top row. And then I'm going to switch over to my other arm while I clean off my fingers and give you a swatch of the bottom row. So the bottom row, starting off with the shade Zam. So that is Zam. Oh, that's so pretty. It's kind of like a coppery shimmery shade. Has a lot more reflex and glitters in again than Soleil. It's kind of similar to Dollars in like the amount of shimmer that you get, but it doesn't have as much chunk to it. Dollars has a little bit more chunkiness. Next one is the shade Wigglies. That gorgeous fiery red shade, so pretty. Then, oh, next to that is Shookington. Shookington is very soft. That is Shookington, purple shade. As you can see, it's kind of like a rich royal purple shade. I don't know how else to describe that. It is just what it is. Then next to that is the shade Trust Issues. I have to leave a little bit of a gap because I messed it up. Oh, so it looks white in the pan, but that reflects completely green when you apply it, and it has a beautiful iridescence to it. Next to that, again, so happy Jackie put in a shade like this. Love it, and you need this for the crease. Sorry, I didn't pick enough up. That is the shade Edges. Beautiful terracotta brown. And then second to last shade, Sponsored. Again, really soft shade. It's a almost like a duochrome effect, but not. It's like an icy greeny blue, like an icy aquamarine. But it does have a little bit of brown at the base, so it's not reflecting like too pale and looking just silver on the skin. It looks like that aquamarine shade. And then the final shade, again, one for the dark skinned girls, that is the shade Ginger, which isn't showing up so well because it's kind of almost blending into my skin. But it is right on the end there. So that's what the palette looks like swatched. So as I clean that off, my first impressions are, yes, completely love the colours and the shades on this palette. And it just goes to show you how important it is to have people making shades that actually work on dark skin. So for example, the shade Sponsored, that kind of like aquamarine blue, it looks a lot deeper in the pan, but because it needed that brown base to make it appear the right colour on our skin tone. If that would have just been like a regular aquamarine blue, I guarantee you that would have just looked like silver. Like there's so many shades sometimes when you get palettes and they're not pigmented enough, they're not made with enough depth, and they just end up looking kind of flat and all like the same shade on our skin. So you can tell that this has been worked on by somebody who is of colour and understands dark skin, because all of these colours show up on our skin and they do what you would expect the shade to do as it looks like in the pan on the skin. And so I'm going to go in and do a quick look with this palette. Because I'm going to work, it's going to be just kind of like a simple everyday look. I'm not going to like do anything too fancy, too colourful, but I will keep playing around with the palette, and I'm sure you will see like lots of variations of me using it. So I'm going to bring you in a little bit closer and then we can get started. Okay, so first off I'm going to go in with the shade Ginger, and I'm going to use that kind of above the crease. Yes, colour payoff that I've gotten off just that one dab is everything. I don't know whether you can see that already. But that looks absolutely gorgeous. Kind of following the same shape as my eyebrow, but just taking that up really high and all the way across. Just below that, I'm going to go in with edges and work that into the crease area. I am getting a little bit of kick up in these shades as I'm dabbing into the palette, but that's kind of to be expected with a palette that is so pigmented, so that kind of stuff never really bothers me. I know when there was the scandal about the ADH, was it the Subculture palette that had the ridiculous amount of kick up, but to be honest, a little bit of kick up like this doesn't like freak me out. I'm just going to wet a fluffy shader brush with some Fix Plus, and then I'm going to go into the shade Lituation. Yeah, I think I want a kind of toned down shade, so I'm just picking that up onto my brush, and then I'm going to start just tapping that onto my lid. Taupey greys like this are just so beautiful. They're so understated, but I love them because they're not like too much in your face, shouting at you. They just do what you need them to do without having a fight. So you just kind of somehow look put together without struggling. I'm slightly overdrawing my lid, which is what I usually do anyway, to try and give my eye a more open effect. If you've got small lids, hooded lids, then you can do this too. If you've already got a really big lid space, there's no need to do this, otherwise it will look a little bit too much. But if you just want to enhance a little bit, then definitely that's my trick, so go for it. This looks so pretty. Alright, so I want to go in now into my crease, and I think I'm going to go and mix in a little bit of Big Wig first, and then I think I'll probably go in with Credit afterwards, just because I want to bring out the purpley undertones of the Lituation shade. So first off, pack it on, and then work it into the outer V and into my crease, just to help to blend in that shade. And when you have got matte shades like this that have a lot of pigment, the trick is to pack it on first, so dab it on before you go in and swipe. Because that way you'll make sure that you get the maximum colour payoff before you start blending, and also it will help with the fallout onto your face, especially if you do your eyeshadow after you do your foundation. I prefer to do my foundation last, but if you do like to do it first, then 100% that's a tip to help you prevent fallout. Oh, this looks so good. This is the purple that everybody needs in their life. And I really like in this palette that there is a transition matte shade to kind of work with everything. So there is a shade to match, or you know, a couple of shades that you could mix and match to kind of give you the finish that you want, or the look that you want. So because I wanted to bring out more of the purple in the situation, I've used this in the crease, and it's making the lid colour look more purple than it did when it was on its own. Gorgeous! Then I'm dabbing in to Credit and just putting that in right at the corner on the edge, and then blending it in just for that little bit of extra smoke. I feel like I've lost a little bit of the transition shade there, so I'm going back into edges and just above my crease, blending it in to those shades, just so that we don't lose that transition. Alright, so I'm going to pause right there. So as per usual, I'm going to switch back off camera, go and finish off the rest of my face, and then I'll be back to finish off the eyes and wrap this up. No Jackie Aina look is complete without a bit of inner corner highlight, so I'm actually going to go into the shade Trust Issues, which had that kind of iridescence green, and I'm going in with a pointed brush and just adding that into the inner corner. That looks amazing. I'm just blending that a little bit up into that tear duct area and across the bottom bit as well. Shazam! Alright guys, so that brings me to the end of the video. Love this palette, if you haven't guessed already. I've got to say, well done Jackie on this, absolutely well done. It is, I think, exactly what we expected in terms of quality, in terms of standards, in terms of making sure that it looked out for dark-skinned women and would work for us. So thank you so much for bringing us this gorgeous palette with this gorgeous packaging and this gorgeous vibe and all of that. I think I will be playing around with this a lot more, so make sure to look out for all the different looks that you can create with this. I mean, with the colour range, there is an infinite number of colour combinations that you can do, so I'm going to have fun playing around with this. If you wanted to support any of the YouTubers that you follow, and you've been thinking about this palette, I would 100% recommend. Totally go out and grab this. It's available on pre-order on Cocoon Beauty, so drop a DM over there and we can get back to you and let you know how soon you can get this in your hands. Otherwise, I absolutely love it. And that brings us to the end of the video, guys. I'll see you in my next one. Bye.